The heat of the afternoon sun blanketed Kano City, shimmering off the rusty zinc rooftops and baking the sandy streets of Sabungari. Motorcycles roared past, vendors shouted, and the melodic call of an itinerant suya seller floated above the chatter. I had just closed my shop, my small electronics store where I fixed phones and sold accessories. Business had been slow for a while, and the weight of my debts felt heavier each day. As I headed towards the bus stop to catch a ride home, my phone buzzed in my pocket. I glanced at the screen. Private number. I don't usually pick up such calls, but something urged me to this time. Salamu alaikum, I greeted cautiously, expecting a telemarketer or a wrong number. Alaikum salam, Mansoor, the voice replied in a deep, calm tone. My heart skipped a beat. How did this stranger know my name? The voice had an air of authority, and something about it commanded respect. Mansoor, do not take the bus home today. It is not safe, the voice continued, steady and unyielding. I felt a chill run through me, despite the scorching heat. Who is this? I stammered, feeling a mixture of confusion and fear. All you need to know is that I am here to protect you. Do not take the bus, the voice repeated before the line went dead. For a moment, I stood there, stunned, the phone still pressed to my ear. My rational mind told me to ignore it. A prank call, maybe. But deep inside, a strange feeling of foreboding settled in. Kano's streets were not without their dangers, and life here had taught me not to take warnings lightly. As I pocketed my phone, my friend Salisu walked up. Mansoor, what's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost. I forced a smile. It's nothing, Salisu. Just, a strange call. He chuckled, patting my shoulder. Ah, you always overthink. Are you taking the bus? Let's go together. For a split second, I considered joining him, but the voice echoed in my mind, tugging at my instincts. Actually, no. I think I'll walk today. Need some fresh air. Salisu gave me a strange look but shrugged it off. All right, suit yourself. See you tomorrow, then. He waved as he climbed onto the crowded bus, blending into the sea of passengers. I watched as it pulled away, feeling a pang of doubt and regret. Maybe I was being foolish, letting a stranger's words dictate my choices. I decided to walk home, taking a longer, quieter route through the back alleys of the old city. The rhythmic clink of my footsteps filled the silence as I navigated the winding streets. I reached an abandoned building, a relic from colonial times, its faded walls overgrown with vines and cracks. Suddenly, my phone buzzed again. I pulled it out and saw the same private number flashing on the screen. With a trembling hand, I answered. Hello? Mansoor, you made the right choice, the voice said, and this time, a sense of relief seemed to seep through the line. But you're not safe yet. What do you mean? I whispered, glancing around, half expecting to see someone watching me. There is an alley ahead of you. Avoid it at all costs. Take the next street, even if it seems out of the way. Before I could ask any questions, the line went dead again. I felt a wave of dread wash over me. My first instinct was to ignore the call, dismiss it as coincidence. But something urged me to trust the voice. I took a deep breath and decided to follow the instructions. As I rounded the corner, I saw the alley the voice had mentioned. It was dimly lit and narrow, with shadows stretching ominously across its length. In the stillness, I thought I heard faint whispers, low and hurried, from deep within. My heart pounded as I quickened my pace, moving past it and taking the next street, just as instructed. Moments later, a loud scream echoed from the alley. I froze, my mind racing. Peering cautiously from behind a nearby wall, I caught a glimpse of two figures grappling in the shadows. It was difficult to see clearly, but I recognized the silver glint of a knife in the assailant's hand. I stumbled back, my blood running cold. Had I entered that alley, I might have been in the middle of that violent scene. Whoever was calling me knew something that could save my life. I hurried away, my mind a whirlwind of questions. By the time I reached the main road near my neighborhood, the sun was setting, casting a warm orange glow over the buildings. I spotted a familiar tea shop, its sign creaking in the breeze. The scent of masa and ginger tea wafted towards me, soothing my nerves. I stepped inside, ordered a cup, and sank into a plastic chair, finally allowing myself a moment to breathe. As I sipped my tea, my phone buzzed yet again. This time, I answered without hesitation. Thank you, I said, my voice barely a whisper. There was a pause before the voice spoke again, softer this time. Mansoor, listen to me carefully. Tonight, you must leave the city. Go to your grandmother's village in the north by the mountains. The absurdity of the request struck me. Leave. Leave Kano. Tonight? How can I do that? There is no time to explain. Danger surrounds you and you must leave now. Trust me. The line went dead once more. My mind raced. It felt surreal, leaving everything, abandoning my shop, my friends. And yet, a growing dread settled in my chest, an instinct I couldn't ignore. Hastily, I drained my tea, paid the vendor, and headed straight home. I packed a small bag with essentials, unable to shake the urgency in the stranger's voice. Under the cover of darkness, I took a bus out of the city, bound for my grandmother's village. The journey was long and winding, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, even as we left the city lights behind. By dawn, the dusty road led us to a quiet settlement nestled by a rocky hillside, where my grandmother's small house stood. She was surprised to see me, but welcomed me warmly, asking no questions. Her wisdom was timeless. She sensed something was wrong and simply embraced me, assuring me of my safety. 2 days later, the news reached me. The bus I had initially planned to take home from Sabongari had been involved in a tragic accident, tumbling off a narrow bridge on its route. It was a miracle anyone survived. My heart sank as I recognized familiar names in the list of casualties. My friend Salisu among them. My hands shook as I realized the magnitude of the call that had saved my life. But the mystery still gnawed at me. Who was the caller? How did they know? I searched for answers, but none came. Days turned into weeks, and I settled into village life, helping my grandmother on her farm and trying to find solace in the simple routines. But the memory of that voice haunted me. A question without an answer. Then, one quiet evening, as the sky turned a deep purple, my phone buzzed again with a private number. With trembling hands, I answered. "It is time for you to return to Kano," the voice said, as calm and mysterious as ever. "But remember, Mansoor, you are destined for something greater. Trust your instincts, and when you hear my call again, do not hesitate." The line went dead. I felt a strange sense of closure, even as new questions filled my mind. I realized that I might never know the identity of my mysterious caller. But as I packed my bags, preparing to return to Kano, I understood that the call had been a gift, a warning from a guardian I couldn't see or touch, a stranger who had saved my life. Perhaps some mysteries were meant to remain unsolved,